Hello channel, welcome back everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a good weekend. Lots of action on English Premier League, Scottish Premier League, and we've got a midweek coming up with a couple of SPFL fixtures as well, which is good. So just doing a wee video just to cover that off, obviously, for midweek. Celtic are playing again, which is it's great. I was at the game yesterday as well. It was a bit Baltic, but the pints attendance managed to stave that off, so there we go. There's no dry January happening here, obviously, but um, thankfully we're on good form at the moment, anyways. So that's always a positive. First in contender D2, so pretty nice. Just a shame, obviously at times, going up and down and everything through divisions, a bit hard to avoid at the moment with all the rotations, etc. But so picking up wins is fantastic. So first in contender, D2. I'm really pleased with the Austin Trusty call, to be honest. I think that was a really proper good call. Scales played pretty much every game, so yeah, it's quite hard to get 11 out of 11 at the moment, but when you call something like this, you take a wee bit of extra sort of heart from that, and hopefully the guidance is helping people get through and get the big scores. So this team done really well. Nice for Furuhashi coming on at the end to cement things as well. In my other teams, second place here, just not Carter Vickers not quite performing. Well done to Jobson for getting $1,000. Superb effort. 5 Celtic players as well. So it just shows you. I know I've got all the high XP Celtic super rares and everything, but you've still got to pick the right scores. I know that goes without saying. Sometimes people look at PSV, look at Celtic or whatever, and they say, I'll never beat him or whatever. Limited probably a bit different because the XP's, so many sort of similar teams that maybe you need a differential there as well. And we've got another huge one running as well. I was sweating that Liverpool-Manchester United game being off. Funnily enough, I didn't run the Brentford defensive stack in D1. I should have probably been a bit braver with that, but I just didn't trust Mark Flecken, to be honest, which in hindsight was a mistake. But 10th place with 8 Nuri to run tonight, basically. Excuse me. If he starts, and obviously we're assuming like no negative decisives and everything here, which is not an assumption you want to be making, but if he starts, then that gets us up into this region here, the 412, which is, $1,000 in itself. So it could be an insane weekend, honestly. I'm so happy with that. And, you take a wee bit of extra pleasure when you're picking guys like Damsgaard and Buemo and Johan Visa. Johan Visa did try his best to ruin it with about 5 million big chances missed, but get a goal and an assist and, pulled things back a bit. Brian Buemo's been brilliant. Cinnamon not been taking as many of the sets now. Damsgaard's been taking some of them, so I've not been sort of captaining them as much, but I'll need to keep an eye on that because it did look as if he's taking some from one side. Allison, obviously put in a reasonable 88 performance. I think it was 49 he scored, which is pretty good. Not as good as a flicking clean sheet. And say 8 Nuri, it's a tough game. I mean, Nottingham Forest are good, but they're kind of quite good at home, if that makes sense. Whereas I think that 8 Nuri can maybe do a bit of attacking at home. So Nottingham Forest obviously are away. So on to the game week coming. Will be a rewards video tomorrow night. Hoping to get over threshold again at some point soon to get some more crafting done from the limiteds. We're just going to keep going to tier 3. Never know, might pull out the odd star and we'll all be giving away to people who are following the channel just now as well. So we're going to keep trying to do that because I do appreciate you guys watching. We're nearly up to 2,000 subs. So get to this point in the video, if you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe because it does make a difference to the channel. So Celtic against Dundee United. We'll come back to the actual team predictions in a minute. 2.92 XG, 53% clean sheet percentage, 86% win percentage. Kasper Schmeichel has been an absolute clean sheet machine this season. I mean, if you think back, I think last season Joe Hart probably hampered a bit of SO5 in terms of Celtic. Not him personally, but goalkeeper wise, you need a clean sheet decisive, generally speaking, especially if you're stacking with the defender as well. Celtic defenders have been really quite high in terms of AA at the moment as well, which helps. a lot over and above that. But Celtic, although they did concede 3 goals to Rangers, out with that game specifically, Celtic have only conceded 4 goals in the whole league campaign so far. So incredible, probably running a bit above expectations in terms of clean sheets. But, you know, the home games especially are pretty good. Celtic did get a clean sheet against Dundee United away the last time. Flew in the camp, so Welsh and Scales started that one, etc. So it was a bit of an unusual game. Celtic didn't have a few of their first team players, so like Alice Johnson didn't play, Kuhn didn't play, etc. So I think that Celtic should beat Dundee United, and you know, a really solid performance yesterday. Rangers against Dundee. Well, Rangers' problem is, although they did beat Celtic, their away form is very, very poor. The other issue, I guess, is that, you know, Jack Buckland's currently out. He had a dead leg, and then it caused like a internal bleed in the leg. I think that's what they said. So I don't know how soon he'll be back. Rangers are not really keeping clean sheets anyway. Playing a specific way, which does seem to work reasonably well against Celtic, and does seem to work reasonably well in Europe as well. You know, decent performance against Tottenham, beating East away from home, all that type of stuff. But just 13 points behind in the league, really poor results. So 2.42 XG. The other thing to look out for is guys like Czerny, etc. Recent game against Motherwell were rotated. I think that's one of the other issues that Rangers have got. Celtic maybe have got some more depth in certain positions. I'll come back to that in a minute. Kilmarnock against Motherwell. Motherwell not been really that great this season, if I'm honest. Although Aston Oxford did get a clean sheet or a good score at weekend, so that's helped me win D2. So appreciate that. But you see the difference in the sort of projections now. 1.5 XG, only 38% clean sheet percentage for Kilmarnock. Although Kilmarnock, I think at home for this game, so it's on their dodgy plastic pitch. Tenerife and Levante are playing. They're not licensed. I'm not really 100% sure why it's All-Star that's open, but that's what we're dealing with, and I'll come back to that after we've run through the team projections. So as a bonus for this one, since it is a restricted game week, I'm just going to go through all the SPFL matches. Predictify is a paid service, you know, but I have got to deal with, obviously, the guys where it's not exclusive. I always have done the YouTube videos, etc. We'll just do a wee showcase of the other ones just now because it's such a restricted game week. Also, you can see up top, I just can't count, and 70% for Furiashi and 35% for Rita. It just doesn't add up to 100. But anyway, we'll fix that once we're finished. Again, it seems to be in the overall template for some reason. So, Celtic, Kasper Schmeichel, clean sheet machine, PSA, been great. Alistair Johnson had a wee break recently because he was injured, so I don't really see the need to rotate him just now. Celtic playing Wednesday, and then they play Ross County away at the weekend. Then I think there's a free midweek, so that will give a wee bit of time, maybe for a day or two of rest. Still a lot of games. Greg Taylor, really interesting one, Greg. The Celtic fans were chanting about Kieran Tierney, so Greg Taylor's out of contract. He can now speak to teams and agree a pre-contract. Alex Valley's on loan from Barcelona. People are talking about maybe being recalled. I don't think they can recall him. Celtic paid all his wages up front as a fee to Barcelona. So that fee was paid in the summer, and I think if Barcelona were to recall him, even I don't know if they can recall him, but if they were, they have to pay money. They can't even register Olmo just now, so I think he's definitely staying till the end of the season, Alex Valley. I'd like to see Celtic buy him, to be honest. If Kieran Tierney is indeed coming in, then Tierney and Valley would be a really good pair in there, and I think it's looking likely Greg Taylor's going to go. There's a lot of links with Dynamo Zagreb, which surprised me a wee bit, but we'll see what actually transpires. I think it's more likely he stays in the UK. I don't think there's any other teams out with Celtic that can afford his wages in Scotland, so you know, maybe the English Championship or something, I don't know. Centre back pairing, I was really pleased that I got the trustee call right for the last game. I think that was a good one. Mentioned that earlier, but it's quite tricky to call these things, and I didn't have any real information in that. That was just my hunch, seeing the form and everything. So the comment up here saying 105% trustee plays. I wouldn't call it 105%. I wouldn't add the 60 and the 45. I would probably make it more sort of 60, 65 overall, or just aggregate them together. I wouldn't add them together. So it's a tough one because Scales was playing well before the game at Ibrox. He's been taken out of the team. He played well against Dundee United away. In that game, Stephen Welsh also played, but Stephen Welsh is going on loan to Mechelen. I think Dane Murray's getting recalled for a bit of cover. So I think it'll be Scales, Trusty and Vickers will all rotate in there. Trusty is just back, so I don't expect him to be taken back out the team. What worries me about Carter Vickers is when he's playing a long run of games, he can't always play 3 games in a week. So, we've got the game against Ross County away from home at the weekend as well. So there's no real sort of respite soon. So you could see Scales and Trusty. Again, it's a very difficult call. As far as I'm aware, touch wood, none of them are actually injured. So, it's going to be difficult to call. But I think that Trusty could cover off Carter Vickers there, and then I think that it will revert to Trusty and Carter Vickers. That's my thoughts on it. Cal McGregor did get rested in the game before the Rangers away game at Ibrox, so really see any need for him to be rested. But you could well see Bernardo, Ingles, and Hatate or something in here. I don't know how Brendan Rodgers is going to view it. I mean, he did say that all the squad would be used. Maybe 95% is a wee bit too high, but if you look at the actual performances and the starts that Cal McGregor gets, he very rarely misses games. And also in home games, Celtic dominate the ball, which means not as much pressing, etc. as well. I think Rio Hatate will probably come back in. I thought McCown played okay, actually. He's a good wee player. But, I think Hatate's been taken out. You could see him sitting on the bench again. You could maybe go McGregor, Bernardo and Engels playing a bit further forward. I'd like to see Engels playing again. He did miss a game at Ibrox. I think that really hampered Celtic's midfield a lot. He's been pretty much man of the match the last 3 home games. And I'd like to see him getting into a stride and just keep him playing now. I was at the game, and obviously when you're watching it with your own eyes, it's not just on the TV, it's a wee bit better, but boy's a top player. He's good. Doesn't always add up to brilliant SO5 stats, but his delivery from set pieces is absolutely incredible. He just absolutely fires them in. And whilst he's doing that, there's always a chance that a Scales or a Trusty or a Carter Vickers gets a goal from corners. Maeda have got 80%. He was again rested just before the Rangers game, so I don't think he's really in need of a rest. Did come off about 5 minutes, I think, before the end. So I think he'll probably start again. I wouldn't rule out Yang getting a start. I mean, he looked reasonably sharp when he came on, just not really got a lot of end product. Nicholas Kuhn was great again, played a really, really good game, looked back to his confident self, scored a good goal, and then the second one was more of a tap-in, but he still looked quite composed for it. He came off a bit earlier as well. I think that with Celtic drawing at Dundee United and Nicholas Kuhn, etc., missing that game, and Celtic maybe not creating that much, that, will be another strong team that goes out. 13 points clear, so that's a bit of leeway now, but the manager, I think, still wants to push forward and be on it and make sure there's no slip-ups. Furuhashi in at 70. Again, Ida started to look a bit sharper. He could get a run of games. There's no two ways about it. It's a tough call. I mean, even with Furuhashi coming on quite late, I appreciated that for the 35 points, but I think they'll rotate depending on how the manager sees those particular games, and usually the other one comes on for a reasonable amount of game time. Anyways, looking at the other teams, we will look at this game next because it's the next game in terms of reasonable stats, etc., or a reasonable chance. So Dundee, not really that familiar with this season, but I say Rangers have been struggling a lot away from home, so they have been scoring goals, but they haven't really been that tight at the back. So that's the overall Dundee prediction. In terms of Rangers, you see Butland's in there at 30%, so there's a chance that he might be back. Cherny, 90%. Igamani scored a hat-trick and then hit the post, so he's playing really well at the moment. You would expect him to start. Clement got a lot of real sort of, bad press and everything for rotating Igamani and Cherny based on sports science or whatever for the Motherwell game. I think overall the issue that Rangers have got is they don't really have that deeper squad. You see Ridvan Yilmaz and Jeffrey are both left-footed players, and Dujon Sterling's been covering more centre-half with issues there. Tavernier is out at the moment. Robin Proper maybe come back to a wee bit of form, but I just don't really think he's that good, if I'm honest. I'm a biased Celtic fan here. Looks like there's no Raskin. I don't know what the reason for that is. He's been one of the best scorers. Raskin's suspended, so that's good. Doesn't affect me in any way. I mentioned earlier Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock are at home, so they're always capable of putting up a performance on that pitch. Robbie McCrory, I think, is a reasonable shout if you want to go with someone out with, Schmeichel, etc. And the Rangers' position's a wee bit more up in the air. Not that they're really that reliable at keeping clean sheets. Daniel Armstrong's a pretty talented player. I like David Watson as well. Pretty good. Pretty solid team, and they are capable on their day. And there's not a lot of games on here. Aston Oxbury, you'll see, is highlighted there. I've got a card of his. Lennon Miller's out at the moment, and you get Tony Watt, the trader, up there as well. So that's the overall overview. I'll have a quick look at modern players as well. So again, this is the fantastic spreadsheet by Sorare Probabilities. Great job by Igal at S_probabilities on Twitter. As a paid service, it's not me that's created it. I don't get any commission for referring you to this. If you want to join it, I would recommend it because it's pretty good information based on all the stats, projections, etc. So Kasper Schmeichel, 53% clean sheet percentage, projected 6-7, maybe not expected to be that busy. Robbie McCrory I've got as well. I think he will start, to be honest. Aston Oxford is there. Jack Walton expected to be busy, I think, for Dundee United. You never could put up a monster score. I mean, Celtic don't always break through at home. Seems to be a theme of kind of struggling to break teams down and then eventually wearing them down and getting a couple. Liam Scales, so you could take a chance on Liam Scales, I guess, given there's no relegation, there's no divisions, and you could take a chance. Might be a game week for that, having a wee bit more of a gamble. Alistair Johnson on there, we're projected 55. I think at home he'll outscore that projection. Arnott Engels, again, will he start and everything? That's a question. There's always a chance of rotation. I think Celtic will make a couple of changes with it being a midweek, so Celtic have been doing that and still being successful. And then Furuhashi, Nicholas Kuhn again, I think will outscore that particular projection there as well. Ida's been playing, it's not been that great. So in terms of what we've got open for this midweek, as I say, just, although it sounds as if I'm constantly being negative, I just don't really see the actual reason why you would open an all-star for 8 contender games. But that's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not going to say any more. I like this wee graphic. It looks quite cool, actually. Marketing stuff's actually pretty good from Sorare, I must admit. So we've got 2 limited entries. Now, the only good thing here, I guess, is that there's no cash. So, that's the thing with these game weeks. There's no cash at all. You can get podium cash or anything. I think the Sorare could probably afford to pay a wee bit of podium cash or whatever. I mean, people have been paying premiums recently for SPFL type cards and everything for contender, etc. And the one with the Challenger where there was 7 licensed teams that wasn't opened, I know that that's the rules, right? But, if I'd bought a Burnley stack or whatever, then I'd be a bit peeved at that, to be perfectly honest. I haven't, but I'm just saying. Now, the good thing here is that you can win guys like Salah, Musiala, Mbappe, Yamal, Jude Bellingham, etc. So the pros and the cons are there's no cash on offer, but you've got these guys in the pool, so that is good. From my own point of view, I mean, I'm going to have a lot of cards sitting out here. Obviously, my gallery's kind of optimised to have the 6 entries or whatever into contenders, so this is going to sort of kill me a bit from that point of view. And as a restricted game week, so the best you can win super rare is a tier 1. Is there a star rare? There's a star rare. I mean, that's not terrible for a game week of this magnitude. And if you look at the star rares as well, then yeah, I mean, you could win some right good ones. Kane, Cole Palmer, Mbappe, Bruno, Vinicius, all really valuable cards. So I mean, what Sorare have done where they've front loaded a lot of the stuff, and then after front loading it, the auctions are a bit slower and things now, and then the rewards are coming out, but you're not always up against an auction. That's worked really well. I said it on the Go Fuck Friday thing with Quinny and stuff as well. That has actually worked pretty well. So I'd say that's been a success. So just other tweaks, other parts of the game, don't treat super rare like limited and rare, because it just isn't. It's different. I mean, obviously I've been smashing up the in-season super rare with contender, but it's what happens when you buy a Celtic stack and they keep 15 clean sheets in the league, and so I've done well there, but probably running a bit above expectation as well. Real Madrid rare collection's hardly won anything, if I'm honest. They've not been reliable at all, but there's still loads of time. I mean, they're playing right through to the Club World Cup in the summer, and sometimes you've got to have a wee bit of patience with that as well. So it's into January. I'd imagine there will be some information coming soon. Sorare said they would give us a bit of notice about the changes coming in for sort of February, which would link into MLS coming back, South Korea coming back. Will we get River Plate cards soon or whatever? That type of thing. So pretty interesting. I don't know if I mentioned one of our videos. We'll finish on this. I have actually bought a couple of super rares, so I know I've obviously been quite vocal about super rare in the setup, but you can run 2 out of season super rares in the in-season competition as well. So from that point of view, it can still be worth picking up. So he had a wee kind of hiatus and that. I hadn't really picked up any cards for at least a month, but I think that makes sense with this sort of structure where the cards are more front loaded and you get all your utility. Joe Yuen-Woo is a guy who I've been trying to get for ages. I think that's a reasonable price for him. Fingers crossed, he survived the window, etc. But doesn't really show on his recent form there, but plays for South Korea and Ulsan, best team in that league generally speaking over previous years. Martinez Quarter I think is confirmed now to River Plate, and you double check on that, but he'll be a really elite defender there, like proper ball playing defender, and just he'll get good scores there. I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't. And it looks like River try to sign like Drew Easy and things as well, so they're kind of ramping it back up again after falling back down to mid-table. And Kieran Tierney looks like it's on the cards to come back to Celtic. I think that Celtic want him in January, but it might just be pre-contract. So anyway, that is the prediction. I don't want to kind of disclose my teams, if that makes sense. It's such a restricted game week. I don't want to be just telling you who I'm going to play in Super Rare so that people can avoid that or whatever and avoid the same teams. But, you can see from the predictions, etc., who the more reliable guys may well be for the game week, and it might be a chance to take a bit of a chance because it's All-Star, you can't get relegated. Okay, there's no cash on offer, but we'll make peace with that now. We'll move on. So thanks again, guys, for watching. I do appreciate it. We'll try and keep doing some crafting for the channel, etc. as well. I'm looking forward to MLS and the other leagues coming back again. Not the contender leagues, because if it was just an SPFL contest every week, then that would be absolutely magic, to be honest. But it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed a few tenants yesterday. Sore head this morning. Good result for Rangers from a Celtic perspective. Can he beat it? So anyway, I'll be away to sweat the Wolves game tonight. Let's hope that Eight Nouri doesn't get sent off. I can see the penalty or something, and we'll have a really fun cash and rewards opening video tomorrow night. If you're playing midweek, thanks again for watching. Good luck and go for it.